capital of the United States state this past weekend as we went down to Providence, Rhode Island, watch Arkansas defeat both the Kansas Jayhawks and the St. John's Red Storm. And you kind of alluded to it last week, just the setup of Bill Self and also Rick Pitino team with John Calipari. I'd say of those two games, those lived up to the billing, and I don't know if I can say that about a good chunk of other games this tournament.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing that John Calipari's team is peaking right now. And all of the things they've been through, all the personnel changes, the injuries, and what have you, and they've found their legs. Now, even with Ivisic slowed up with his wrist. So, of all the great coaches, the Hall of Fame coaches, Cal came up out on top from Providence, which is, basically the back door of New York City there. They had one of the shortest routes of anybody for the first two rounds of the tournament. And here they are now moving on to California, San Francisco, and it's just really been an amazing story. Arkansas as a 10 seed advancing this far.
So, Tom, we took a call from Kevin earlier on the Lewis Automotive Group hotline, and he doesn't like the label Cinderella. I know Cal's really bought in on the underdog mentality. Do you consider this team a Cinderella story heading the rest of the way?
Well, I mean, it depends on I'm not real big on labeling a team in a certain manner, but they've certainly been one of the more impressive of the double-digit seeds, if not the most impressive. Here's the thing. When Arkansas put together this roster, they were supposed to be really good. We just didn't expect all the injuries and having to really test the depth the way they did. So Texas Tech, as I heard the previous caller saying, very good team. They don't get a whole lot of national publicity. Kind of remind me like kind of a Mississippi State of the Big 12. But they're going to be a very solid team. You could tell when Grant McCaslin was at North Texas, he's a really good coach, and he's brought that to Texas Tech. They don't hang their hat on anything in particular other than being a very efficient offense and being tough. So Arkansas's rebounding, which I think has been one of the underrated facets of their run, rebounding and toughness for Arkansas are going to have to show up in this game.
Tom, you mentioned them being so efficient offensively. By the way, we're talking with Tom Murphy, Whole Hog Sports, Arkansas Democrat-Gazette, friends, courtesy of the Arkansas Beef Council. Top 5 most efficient offensive team in college basketball. Kansas had a bad offense under Bill Self. Rick Pitino's team their calling card was defense. I mean, how much of a change are we going to have to see from Arkansas this weekend in terms of just being able to score points based on the opponent that they'll play in San Francisco?
Right, got to pick it up defensively for sure. And then Arkansas's offensive efficiency's got to be good. Here's the thing. You look at their matchups and like, St. John's, they're really tough. They're a really great offensive rebounding team. But Arkansas neutralized that. They got plenty of offensive rebounds and second chance points, but Arkansas kind of beat them to the punch a little bit by building the lead. So with Texas Tech, like I said, not a lot of hype, but Toppin is a really good player. This is not going to be a walk in the park by any stretch. And, I think I agree. I think they're going to have to hit some threes in this game and just be a lot more efficient offensively.
Toppin had 25 and 12 rebounds their last game against Drake to get him to the Sweet 16. He's had a really good season, 18 points a game, 9 rebounds, and shooting 56%. Matt Jones said this is the best player that Arkansas have played thus far in the tournament, and I'm not so sure that I'm pretty sure that he's right on that based on what he can do. No disrespect to Hunter Dickinson, but this kid can play when you get to Thursday. Tom, I wonder when you look at Arkansas and the other matchups, any surprise that 7 teams made the Sweet 16, or is that kind of the number you were expecting?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't have predicted Ole Miss to make the Sweet 16. 7 is a really good number for the SEC, and they have their power team, so to speak: Florida, Tennessee, Alabama. Auburn's still alive, which are, big-time seeds. So I think at the very beginning I heard, would you take the SEC or the field? And, excuse me. And I think Wally Zerviak said he would take the SEC. And at this point, I don't know what the odds look like or anything like that, but there's some very powerful SEC teams, and there's teams like Arkansas and Ole Miss that have really, battled their way to making it to the Final 16.
Yeah, I tend to think that you're going to see two teams from the SEC in the Final Four after this weekend. Tennessee and Kentucky, the only SEC teams that will play in the the Sweet 16, and then we'll see if we have matchups beyond that for the SEC in the Final Four as well. Tom, outside of basketball, I know it'll tie into basketball, but the University of Arkansas officially put out the release of Remy Cofield, the deputy athletics director and GM for Razorback Athletics. This was thought to be happening because John Rothstein put it out, and it wasn't official just yet about a week or so ago. Now it's official. What are some of the questions you maybe have on how he can affect Arkansas athletics moving forward?
Well, that's a really good question. He's going to have to just be very, very well versed in what revenue sharing is going to look like, what percentage is going to go to the student athletes, how it's broken down by sport, and I mean that's got to be his top stuff. I mean, he's got to know the numbers inside and out, how much they'd be willing to, to give in each sport and per athlete, and it's a tough task, but when you're in the NBA, I don't know, he's been more on the scouting side of things, it looks like, but that's one of the qualities that they have to have. And in college athletics now, Arkansas needed to get with the times, and they have, and it's a very key position. Hopefully it will take a whole lot off of Calipari, Sam Pittman, and the other head coaches in terms of what their roster composition looks like and what the financial breakdown looks like.
Tom, I appreciate your time, man. Love hearing from you. Love catching up with you, and we'll do so soon. Okay, buddy?
Sounds good, man. Take care. Enjoy your trip to California.
BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for betting on all the madness. Whether you're a seasoned fan or a first-time bettor, BetOnline is your ultimate game day companion. With the largest selection of odds on everything from college basketball to a $200,000 bracket contest, BetOnline continues to be your number one sports betting source. From every Cinderella story to every hat trick, BetOnline has you covered with odds, stats, and more for every game, every play, and every win. BetOnline, the game starts here.